Tuition Christian, back with a video entitled, I find this strange about the Iraqi dinar. And so before we get into that, first of all, I just want to say anything that I discuss or talk about in these videos is just my research or research people that have sent me, listening to other people who are involved in the stock market, and I'm just basically showing you what I'm doing and what I believe in. Anything or any stocks or any currencies I talk about, everything is always a risk. Any investment is always a risk. So I say that because people have to make important decisions. And you're looking for something that you can invest in, and you're looking for something that could be great. And I'm basically just resharing that information or things that I find or resharing from other people. And I thank you guys for the people of the support on Patreon. That's much appreciated. Right now, I did the research on the BBB stock, right? And we found out exactly, we've narrowed it down. This last post that I did, there was a question mark because I wanted to do all the research. I've done all the research, and now I feel like, okay, that this is what Kim Clement talked about. So he talked about this well. So the other issue is trying to find and making sure that we can actually buy this stock in the American market and whatever other market that you're in. So if you live outside the United States, whatever country that you're in, whatever trading platform you're using, look up the symbol, see if it's available within your area, or how to find out how you can get it, because every country is different. So when you're doing your research, if you're in somewhere in Africa or Europe or Asia, you don't really know, how you can actually invest in that. You have to look to see on your trading platform if you can actually buy that particular stock. If not, you might need to sign up for a different one, maybe one that deals in international trading. Let me know, for you guys that are on the Patreon, if that stock is available within your area and what country you're in. The next thing is some of you guys are looking for money and you guys are looking for ways to invest. I have a video here that says 10 links to finding lost money for you or your business. Some of you may have money in that particular well, right? And what you got to do is you got to go to your state website, lost money, unclaimed money, and then you type in your state. And it's basically the Department of Treasury for your state. So in that description is the link to the different sites that you can use to see if there's any lost money from yourself. Some of these states actually use private services that you can type in missing money. I think some of these states use that website, and maybe some use a different one. Most of the states have their own Treasury Department where you can type in, search your name. And see, the other thing, if you have any deceased loved ones, you also definitely want to check to see if there is any lost or missing money. Some of those links are actually, military. There's some links for like military benefits. You don't know what was unclaimed by, say, your parents. Some of you might be 50, 60, 70 years old and don't know that they've had a life insurance claim. You just have to go through and you have to look. If you suspect that there might be something out there, and you should always check for yourself too as well. You want to make sure that that's one way of knowing what's going on in your financial life, is making sure that you're going back and you're checking any unclaimed. If you moved around from place to place to place a lot, especially from state to state to state, you need to check every state that you've ever lived in. And I know that some of you guys, this one of the things, some people ask me all the time, well, I don't have any extra money to buy dinars, I'm on a tight budget. Well, if you have at least a decent car, and I just, it's just an idea for people who want to do that. And right now, Lyft is offering 125 rides in your first 30 days, and you get $1,000. Now, I would only recommend, I can't do it, but the link is down below in the description. So if you guys decide that if this is something you could look to do, my advice is, because I know people who do Lyft and do Uber and stuff like that, is that you got to make sure you have a good car. And that not only that, if you only plan on really doing it part-time, then what you would want to do is get your first 125 rides out of the way. You just get it done, and you'll have made money along the process. And maybe you work full-time, and I figured it out to be to like 4.2 rides a day, right? That's 125 rides in the first 30 days. So if that's something that you think that you can do, you have a decent car, because sometimes people don't have very good cars. 125 rides doesn't really seem like that's a lot over a period of a month. It just depends on how much you do it and how often you do it to reach that goal. Because once you reach that goal, you can get that's money that you can use to invest. So that's just something that's out there. The link is down below in the description. All right, and then the next thing, just to show you guys what I do with my Robinhood. It's not live right now, it's the weekend. But what I do is when I do get a referral, I'll take it and I'll sell it and I'll buy, the stocks that I'm into. So, but after you claim your free stock, you have to wait about 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 business days, and then you can take that same stock and you can sell it. Then you can turn around and buy the stocks that you want to buy. So I'm going to be doing a video just on Robinhood and show you guys how to get referrals. That way it can help you out and show you how to take and write your own articles so you can post it to your friends and your family and try to get them involved in trading, because that's one way that people don't understand. And the markets can be volatile, but you have to be smart. There's a lot of people that are making money every single day off the stock markets. And if it's something that you think that you could get into, if you're married, you have a husband and wife, you guys work together as a team, say, hey, let's look at some of these stocks, let's see how we can invest, let me learn about it, let me read and watch some online things about stock trading and day trading and everything else. So that link is also down below in the description. What I'm going to be doing is helping all of the people. If you have clicked on my link for Robinhood, send me an email. The email's down below in the description. Send me an email and send me your link, and then I'm going to include it in my video, because you can only make up to, when it comes to the stocks, and it could take a long time to get to this point, but you have a reward ceiling, which is $500. So that 500, what we're trying to do is trying to turn that 500 into, once you get to that point, as far as your free stocks, turning that 500 into thousands. All right, so just to give an update on the 8 wells from Kim Clement, I heard Currency 365 and what he had to say about it. And so I'm just going to go back over them really, really quick before I get into what I was going to discuss at the beginning. But I wanted to give everybody an update on this. All right, so the Kim Clement Dinar, we know that one. Synchrotron, there is a company out there. There are some trading platforms that say that it's basically available, but I have to wait till there are funding to the account. And that's what I'm also doing with the BBB as well. I'm waiting for that account to be funded so I can attempt to go ahead and purchase those stocks. So with Synchrotron, what you want to do is you want to type in the name, and then you want to type in investing or Synchrotron company. Try to do, or biotech, because that's mainly where it's at, is a biotech industry. So maybe type in Synchrotron and biotech. Maybe give you guys can find some more companies that are out there that are really good investments, that are cheap enough that mostly anybody could afford these stocks. And you can post that down in the description, or if you're on the Patreon, you can post that, make a comment on that as far as on the post for this particular video that we did. So I have this posted, I have this picture posted, so that you guys can do the research. If you find something, you can post it there. And then the next one is FirePoint, the big E. And so I've received some information about that, and I have to go through it all and digest it and then do my research with that. Gold and silver, I told you I was going to be doing a video on that specifically, which is, I think it's going to be very good. And then of course oil. Now optical fusion is a technology, and there's a lot of companies in that industry. So maybe in some way, somehow it might be connected to another company that, maybe that Kim Clement has talked about, but that remains to be seen. So that's just technology. Now the next thing is Ford. Ford right now, and I know Kim Clement talked about it going to $28, but we also know that there's a great possibility, there's a pretty high probability that the financial currencies, the whole markets, Dow, everything could crash. Right? There's a possibility, or at least it could drop significantly. Maybe not even necessarily a crash. Maybe it's going to appear to be like a crash, and that maybe when the Dow does hit 20,000, maybe that will trigger the dinar. But all that remains to be seen. So until it does change in value, and then we can go back and we look and say, oh, okay, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that. But as far as Ford, just wait for it to go down. If you guys have looked at Ford, I wouldn't go and purchase a lot of, especially if the markets start to go down. You probably will get a chance to invest in that. And keep in mind what he said about that company. Some of the things in there haven't. I did a little bit of research on it. Some of the things that he discussed about with Ford and that same thing hasn't occurred yet. So there may be still a lot of time for that stock to maybe come down, and then you can invest in it. Now, and then I've, of course, had the question marks as far as what the eighth one was, cryptocurrency. I've shared it many times in the video. If we weren't blinded by the gurus about the dinar, took what we invested in the dinar and with the Bitcoin, you'd be well wealthier than what you're waiting on for right now. And I think that's one of the most interesting things that these people were supposed, a lot of these people claim to have contacts and insider information and all type of stuff, and yet they couldn't see the cryptocurrency markets. That kind of amazed me. And I know Johnny was talking about it and how, if it wasn't for the cryptocurrency markets back then, he wouldn't, he'd be in a totally different position right now. So then there's the other discovery, and then there's the other one, the oak tree. And there might be some confusion about that. You have to connect that with Einstein, right? And the research that he was doing and what he was supposedly discovered about the oak tree. So with that, with the oak tree, you guys just go out there and throw in the Google search Einstein oak tree and see what you can figure out. Maybe go through some of his discoveries, some of the things that he's discussed. All right, so that's what I know about that. I haven't looked too deep into that yet. So and then here I have plus 3 more yet to be researched. Now, one of those that was to be researched was the BBB, right? Now, that very well could be one of the 8 original wells. I don't think we'll ever know what the 8 original wells are, because he does list some of them when he discusses the 8 wells. But when you actually go back through and look through his prophecies, he's got a lot more than 8. So I have here plus 3 more yet to be researched, and from what you guys are sending me, it's actually, I think I said this, maybe 15 or 16 different things in his prophecies concerning some type of financial wisdom, or what God was sharing with him about different companies and giving us clues to different areas to invest in. So with that being said, I just wanted to update you guys on that, and we're going to be doing a lot of research. I have a lot of information coming through, and I'm trying to get through it all. Some of you are emailing me and messaging me, and I will get to it all, because there's a lot, from what I've read so far, there's a lot of interesting things in that. All right, so the thing I wanted to talk about today is, I find this strange about the Iraqi dinar, and one of those things is the whole banking system. How you cannot go to your bank to buy Iraqi dinar. The strange thing is that in 2003, the leader of Iraq was removed, and in 2004, and actually the 15th year anniversary was coming up on January 15th, it'll be 15 years, and yet you can't go to any bank, go online as far as a bank, and buy Iraqi dinar. You can only buy from licensed dealers. Some people buy from Amazon or wherever. I'd recommend that you never do that. But you can't just call your bank and say, I want some Iraqi dinars. And it's been 15 years. And it's almost like, okay, well, are they still being punished? You're talking about 15 years down the line. So why would the banks be waiting? I mean, what is exactly that they're waiting for? Oh, yeah, they're still under sanctions and all that stuff. And I find that kind of ridiculous to a point, because at one time with what Bush said and Obama, and at least I would just say this, at least the previous administrations said that, Iraq was their partner, strategic partner, military-wise and economic-wise, but yet you can't go to the bank and purchase Iraqi dinar. And some people say, well, they're still under sanctions, but it's just, the threat. You're looking at 15 years ago that he was removed, and yet they're still being, you can't go to the bank. I know that there still could be possible sanctions in place, but that would be ridiculous. There's really no reason why you shouldn't be able to go to the bank. Now, if this was not a conspiracy like a lot of other people say, the mainstream news media, what some of the gurus have been arrested for. But I find it strange that we just can't go to the bank and get them. That just doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. They launched their currency, January 15th, 2004? So going on 15 years, you still can't go to the bank. I mean, what would have been the problems that would have kept Iraq in the first 10 years? Well, we know what happened in 2014 when, basically almost half the country got taken over. But that doesn't mean you still shouldn't be able to buy Iraqi dinars from a bank. I mean, literally, there are some countries that are at war with other countries and all these different groups in certain countries, and yet you can still buy their currency. So I just find it strange. I mean, and if Iraq was so special to the previous administrations, and this one too, why can't you still buy Iraqi dinar? If it's not that big of a deal, if it's not going to change in high in value, and it's going to be like some of the other currencies, why shouldn't I be able to go in and buy Iraqi dinar from the banks? And the other thing is too is I was just sitting here looking at this, and I was looking at this PKR versus IQD glitch. I don't know if you guys saw that video. It will appear at the end of this video. But I find it interesting. I just wonder who was actually behind that glitch and what the final result of that was. If any of you guys have that information, please post it in the description. The IQD, I think it was back all throughout 2017 and 18. There's all kind of glitches showing it different currencies and stuff like that. And it's kind of seemed like, things were moving. And then you have the PKR glitch, when people woke up in that country and they thought that they were, that their wealth had just increased. So if you guys have any information on that, please post that, any information about those glitches. You can post it on that video or this video. So tell me what you guys think about that. Tell me what you think about how ridiculous it is that we still can't purchase the dinar through the banks. If this is such a big conspiracy, then what's the big deal, right? There's a lot of negative information about maybe, hey, this actually could be a decent investment. Even if you only make a few $1,000s, it's still an investment. Of course, we hope for more than that. I also feel like that it's a shame that because of the crimes of another particular leader in that country, that 15 years later, really, as far as dinar, nothing has changed. I mean, it's gone up. It's gone up against the dollar over the last 15 years. So nobody could ever say that it was not an investment. It's just those who got in earlier got a better deal, right? The more if you bought a lot back then, it was a lot cheaper for you as opposed to now. And that's going to be a lot of the same things with some of these stocks. Some of you guys are going to wait till it's, if one of these stocks goes up to $1 or $2, and we think that it might go up to, a lot higher than that, then you're going to start investing, but you're not going to make as much. So, that's why you have to be ready. That's why over these past couple weeks, I've signed up with a lot of different trading platforms, because if a stock becomes available, I need to be able to go to any of those and say, okay, I can purchase it here on this trading platform. To me, it's just like you're just punishing Iraqis. You're punishing the citizens and you're punishing the government. And that's one of the things that, maybe the corrupt individuals over there is that it rains on the just as well as the unjust. And if they would just understand that, maybe they would loosen their grip and let this thing go. And not only will it be a benefit to the Iraqi people, it'll be a benefit to everybody in the world. There's a lot of hurt and pain and suffering in Iraq. And regardless if you are good or evil over there, everybody has lost loved ones. I'm sure many families that have been torn apart over the last 20 years. And because they have suffered so much, even the unjust will benefit from God's plan for that area. It's not to say that other countries haven't experienced worse, but it has to be the people that determine the direction, the people that are in those positions. Because ultimately, this will be the CBI's decision in exactly what to do and how they're going to do it. But then that decision comes from above. God is orchestrating this piece by piece and putting all the pieces in place so that it can be done. Anyway, guys, leave your comments down below. I thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the Patreon, and all the support links are down in the description. God bless. Christian out.